Here's a note from Armaan and Paris. Here's the truth. Armaan here, yes, it's me, and my wife Paris alongside. I remember this Reddit came forth about 2 years ago. I was 19 at the time, and I hated this Reddit. I wasn't thinking of what some random people said of me on here. I couldn't give two Fs about what 40-year-old women were saying about me. I was just simply looking out for my mom and her business. Of course, her business affects mine, human design, but it didn't obviously suit her well for what was to come later. I have always supported my mom. I loved her tremendously growing up. I was watching her from the sidelines when she filmed her first YouTube videos on. I think it was like Louis Vuitton bags and scaling to a multi-7-figure companies a decade after. I saw it all. Now the reason I'm making this post is because after some reasoning, talking about it with my wife, because y'all have some bad energy living on Reddit as gremlins. Okay, so he's calling us gremlins. It's fine. And you guys need more help than you think. I said, you know what? I'll give justice, at least for myself and my wife. Hence why I'm posting here. So here's the reality. Does my mom know what she's talking about on YouTube? Yes. I won't discredit her on that. My God, she's a smart saleswoman, but also has very good knowledge overall. I'm not saying wisdom because it's not mostly embodied, but she has taught me a lot. Now, is my mom savage? Yes. Is she a good businesswoman? Yes. Are there things anyone could learn from her? Yes. Is she a good person? No. I say hell no to that, and I stand by it. She abused the F out of me when I was a child. My stepdad abused me too as a child. It wasn't just my mom. Physically didn't stop till I was around 11 to 12 years old. While she was preaching on good parenting on YouTube, she would record me in public crying while teasing me, saying, "You better stop crying. Keep doing it. I dare you. I can ruin your life at any moment," and laughed about it in the car while showing me the pics. I was 8. Quite often, she would hit me. She would come into the room the next day saying, "I need to check for marks because you have a doctor's appointment. If they spot any bruises, I can get in trouble." She would yell like you wouldn't believe about things that don't make sense. Like if I didn't fold the laundry the way she liked it, I was excited to show her that I did it fast. I was just a kid, but no, punched me in the face for doing it wrong. I was 9, but I couldn't cry. Wasn't allowed to because I'll get hurt again. But I did it anyway. I was low-key a sensitive child. I started bullying others at school too. Also vice versa. Got into so many fights, but now it makes sense why. She was always trying to be tough on me. I gotta be strong too, I thought. Therefore, I reacted quickly to any situation. I was 10. I turned 14. 13 was already a bad year. I got a phone for my 13th birthday, and I was constantly on it because talking to my friends was the only way to escape reality. I was doing good for myself anyway. Honor roll, president of clubs, the most intelligent kid in the class, but nope, I spent too much on phone time. She acted as though I was doing drugs and smoking. Girl, I'm on Instagram and making musicallys for my friends. That's it. We had an altercation after my 14th, so in the heat of the moment, I called CPS. Oh no, now you guys know. Fuck. Yeah, we had an active case. Investigator came to investigate, and my mom put on her best performance with her sweet voice. I almost doubted the whole thing. I thought I was the crazy one. That was the pattern all my life. Yelling, hitting. Then 1 minute later, "Oh my God, you won't believe what happened with this celebrity." I can't do it. I tried to imitate her voice there, but no. It became quite scary because I didn't know how to react to the polar opposites. She tried to convince me all my life I have bipolar myself and mental issues myself, especially because I come from predator genes from my extremely good-looking ex-husband. Anyway, the CPS apparently closed the case because of my mom's deserved worthy Oscar. She wanted me out the house immediately. My uncle tried to take me in. I love him to death, but he said he can only take me in the next school year because he needs the papers, like medical. Even got a lawyer to help, etc. My mom lied, refused to give papers, and said he doesn't want you, and sent me off to a program saying if I don't complete it, I'll be homeless. Got abused there initially, by the way. So many lies that she said about what CPS was saying. She even said I'm not allowed to watch TV anymore because my brain is very damaged right now. This sounds like Munchausen's syndrome or something to me. You know, like that illness where the parent tries to make the kid believe that they're sick when they're not, so that the kid develops even more of a dependency on the parent. And it sounds like she has BPD. Although I don't know if that's even generous. It sounds like she's just a horrible narcissistic person to me. Anyway, Armaan, her own son, has said many times in this Reddit that she's an evil, bad person. So many lies that she said about what CPS was saying. She even said I'm not, okay, I read that, sorry. Yeah, she even said my brain is very damaged right now. This was between the time of CPS active investigation and being sent off to the program, which was slightly less than a month, perhaps. I don't miss that time. Completed the program 13 months later. I turned 15, came back. Not allowed to have friends or talk to anyone. Nada.
Not allowed to have friends as a normal developing teenage boy is insane. See, this is another narcissistic manipulation tactic. Isolation. It's classic.
I turned 16. I wanted to confront her about something she told me when I was 14 after CPS incident. She said, "I regret having you. My cousin told me having you was the worst mistake. I don't love you. Having an abortion would have been the best decision." She told me that at 14. I asked her at 16, "Mom, did you really mean that about what you said?" Yes, what's wrong about that? And I still stand by it.
This honestly might be, to me, the most heartbreaking part of this whole confession. I mean, the whole thing is such a bombshell, of course. It's a lot to take in. But in this episode, in particular, you can just see so clearly how he was just an innocent boy, a kid, desperately wanting and seeking for his mother's love and approval, even after she had already shown and said to his face unspeakable things about how she didn't want him, she should have gotten a deletion, this, that, etc. It just shows you how, like one of the other commentators said, children are hardwired to love their parents and forgive and want to give them a second, third, fourth chance over and over again. So to me, this incident really sums up kind of the sad reality, the sad tone of the whole confession. And I mean, I'm just thinking of my own childhood. I definitely had my own moments and disagreements with my own parents, specifically my mom, but never once did we say anything that damaging to each other. Actually, you know what? I'll be real. As the child, in some instances, as the immature one that didn't know how to express myself clearly yet and didn't have a handle over my emotions yet, I would sometimes say harsh things to my mom, but never did she, return the same energy. At least not to that extent. Like I can't imagine my mom telling me that she wished she never had me or that she should have deleted me when she had the chance. That is just a level of, I don't even know what to call it, evil that I've never witnessed anything of the sort from either of my parents, no matter how bad the arguments got. And we would have, we had our fair share of screaming matches sometimes as well, but never did one of my parents take it to that type of a dark place. I just can't even imagine. Like, if anything, it came from me, being like a bratty, crass teenager telling them that I wish they would have aborted me in order to just come off subversive or whatever. But anyway, my heart just really goes out to Armaan. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, this anecdote was probably one of the biggest reasons or driving factors for me that motivated me to put this in video form on YouTube. I mean, who knows? It might just get buried and people might not pay attention to it, because I don't expect her brainwashed followers to pay much attention or to wake up overnight. But whatever little part I can do with my humble platform, as somebody who actively contributed, however small it might have been, in comparison to the total amount of wealth that she's amassed from this whole scam, as somebody who did at one point purchase one of her offerings and contribute to her overall, revenue, I wouldn't feel right unless I showed my support to Armaan in some small way. So this is the best way that I can think to do so on my YouTube channel.
That became the reality during pandemic for 2 years. I turned 17 and slowly but surely things were changing. Went to Europe trip as a 17-year-old in April 2022. You know what? Things are kind of decent again. Got a phone. Okay, not bad. Graduating high school early? Yes. Until we moved into that new house, the upgraded one. The big-ass mansion became a whole nightmare. She changed way too much too quickly, getting lip filler because God told her. But she got crazy. Living with each other was unbearable. I tried to make a sandwich in the little pantry closet while the maid was working, done with the kitchen, and my mom came in and crashed out. I was 18 at this time. She said as if I'm making a mess. I said, "Hey mom, it's okay, just calm down." I said it so quietly and soothing that she went nuts. She kicked me out the house. I was trying to leave anyway months prior, but they kept convincing me to stay. Even before that, she said, "Because your room isn't clean, you will either give me $500 for rent or you move out." I said move out, before the crash out incident, by the way. I stood my ground. She ended up taking the money anyway, told my dad to go into my joint bank account and take it out, and she didn't care where I went. My stepdad felt bad and helped me. She would have left me for dead if that was the case. What a fucking psychopath monster.
Lots of things happened after. Left the USA officially on my end at 19. Hated it there. Terrible country, but that's another discussion. Mom became mentally crazier after the Reddit posts. Anyway, no problem then. 19. I was doing my thing. Last time I ever saw her or family was at 19 years old. I visited them in Hungary for the intensive. That was July 2024. I asked my mom to come for my birthday in Mauritius, October 2024. She said she would come. She didn't. You know what? It's fine. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. She did give me $500 though, LOL. Like, thanks for giving me the money back. That moment, I would have loved to see her and hug her, despite any tummy tucks or lip fillers or BBLs she probably was contemplating. I would have loved her the same. I met my future wife in July of 2025. Paris, my everything. She's my angel. Told my mom about her. My parents did agree to a call with her, mostly my dad. Paris got ready for like 5 days. She wrote down questions in a book to prepare, because they're her parents-in-law. She was really excited to talk to them because she was never into the fame or money. She didn't care about those things. She just wanted to meet them genuinely as the parents of the man she's in love with. So she prepared, and what happened on the call? Out of 50 minutes, maybe 15 minutes were about her. The rest was just my stepdad talking shit about me to her and insulting me, which he tries to do to this day. She was super confused, and then he said maybe my mother has time for her, but maybe also no. My mom never called her. Paris tried everything to talk to them. She tried to be super respectful. She even engraved something in Urdu in our wedding rings to embrace the Pakistani culture, and she even sent MINA her wedding dress. She tried to really include her, but they just didn't give a fuck. The first time she ever actually called them was when I was in the ER in Vietnam. She was like, hey, I'm sorry you're gonna hear about me in this way, but your son has issues. And she tried everything to keep them updated, even though she was in a crisis herself, not knowing if I was going to make it or not. And nothing. She tried so hard for them to like her and for her to show that she appreciates them, but nothing happened. After a time, she realized how toxic my mother is and how crazy she abused me as a child. Then I turned 21 on October of 2025. Nothing. $500. Yay. But didn't come. Just a happy birthday. December 2025, I had multiple seizures in Vietnam. I would just faint at random times during the day. I had real personality changes because of the brain issues I had at the time. It was incredible how sick I was. Crying on the phone, Dad, Mom, please come and see us. Please come and help us because we don't know what's going to happen. My mom ended up saying, just stay calm and manifest this going away, while I was seizing the fuck out. My wife, as a 21-year-old pregnant baddie, had to do everything herself. Call ambulance multiple times in a country where nobody understands the language. She had to translate everything every day to doctors. I had one procedure after the other trying to figure out what's wrong with me. I even had a spinal tap and I couldn't walk for 2 weeks after because it was so painful. We asked them to help us with the money because it's very expensive, like spinal taps and CT scans abroad. They didn't help us with anything. There was a time where we had to send me to the ER again for another seizure, and the ER that we were just in laughed in our faces. So my wife had to pull me out of the ER, run outside with me, trying to get an Uber to the next hospital while trying to handle everything while I was in active pain and crying. All they were saying was that we have to handle it ourselves and that they're not going to come. Mind you, I wasn't sure if I was going to survive this because no one knew what was going on. My mom said, probably just a local bug. Yeah, so the reason that they didn't come is because they're losers and they actually themselves would not know what to do in Vietnam, but instead of risking, the embarrassment of bumbling around in a new country, they would rather pretend that they're just above it all. They would rather gaslight their son into thinking that he's overreacting. I can tell you that's what was happening behind the scenes in a nutshell. Then I was about to get married. February 2026. Mom was crying over a voice message that she would miss it, so she wanted to get a flight to come see us. Stepdad convinced her not to. They never came to my own wedding. She spent $50K Cartier bracelets prior, but $10K round trip for business class, it's a requirement for her, was too much for them for their son's wedding to visit. Okay, got you. Stepdad did everything for me as a kid, even though he abused me too as a child. Were there flaws in him? Yes, more flaws than strengths, I would actually say, but he tried his best, even though I couldn't come to appreciate it until years later. But for some reason, it was too expensive for them, and weather is bad. Refused to come. All I got was a congratulations to you both. Come to Mexico and we will come see you and celebrate after 2 years of not seeing each other. We ended up getting CO poisoning twice, relocating down to Peru. We told Mom we would stay there for a bit and then move to Mexico so they can come see us. We had active brain damage. My wife's brain was swollen and had scars in her brain and white spots from the CO poisonings. They did nothing to help us. In fact, they were like, "Are you sure you had carbon monoxide poisoning?" We were like, "Yes, we literally had it on paper, by the way." And they said, "No, we don't really believe you," and just started to ghost us. Mind you, at that time, we couldn't do anything. We were sick for weeks. Then we had a miscarriage and it was really, really horrible. We asked for advice since my mom is obviously a woman, and she basically just made it seem like it was too complicated for her and too inconvenient for her that my wife had a miscarriage. I called my mom because my wife was in the hospital bleeding and stuff, and I was like, "I need you. I want to talk to you about this." She got really mad and literally said, "You don't know who I am. Nobody knows who I really am. I've grown so much. It was literally toned to me like a psycho, literally like the devil. It was so creepy. She just said she's too healed for me to deal with any of this. Basically, the miscarriage was too inconvenient for her, so she just stopped contact with us. She left us all alone while we really needed some help and some place to stay because we were so sick, and they didn't give an F. They literally left us out to die. My dad is even worse with the things he said over text. He was trying to separate my wife and I. I said, I need you guys. Ghosted response. Now they refuse to help. Okay, cool, but I can't stand getting notices from her YouTube about how she's helping some woman with her trauma issues, but she couldn't do the same for us. My family members that I actively talked to, that she separated me from because they were quote-unquote bad people, all actively admit there's something severely mental about this woman. Even her mom said that before she died. My wife and I dealing alone with brain damage from carbon monoxide poisoning and so much carried trauma. But yeah, just had to put it out there. A note from my wife, Paris. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit unhinged, and yeah, I think this is where a lot of the ladies in the subreddit took some great offense to things that Paris said, but you know what, I'll just read it for you. Paris, definitely, if there's one thing we can say about her, she does not play about her man, okay? Paris is letting us know that is my man, Armaan. Like, I don't play about him. But no, I can definitely see, like, I can see where she's coming from, but at the same time, it seems like this was definitely written in the heat of the moment. But anyway, these two are 21-year-old kids, all right? So let me just remind you, and please, let's all just have some grace. Me personally, again, I have no hard feelings whatsoever. I'm not bothered by whatever criticisms they have about either the women in the Reddit or just any former or current students of MINA. Like, I'm just glad that they spoke out, you know? I consider this a collective win for everyone. So, a note from my wife, Paris. Let's get one thing straight. MINA had absolutely nothing to do with the divine blueprint. After the abuse and her abandoning me during my miscarriage, Armaan lost his spark for human design. As a smart businesswoman, I took my knowledge and helped him rebuild it independently. We did this out of passion, not for her, even if she's now furious and claiming I'm taking her credit. I am officially washing my hands of this family's toxic drama. I don't care about fame. I am an intelligent young woman living a foreign life, and unlike the rest of this family, I am not a child who will just sit quietly. I don't give an F about any of you, so I have no problem voicing my opinion. To the people crying on Reddit, it is genuinely embarrassing that grown adults are this invested in internet drama. You are old enough to be our grandmas, yet you're furiously hating on people in their 20s for building a business and making money. Don't be mad that you're stuck at a 9-to-5 calling everything a scam just because your own business failed. Unless you've built a multi-million-dollar business entirely by yourself, which, as much as she's a horrible mother, MINA actually did, your opinion is irrelevant. You haven't made it and you're just mad. I won't let you talk shit about MINA, Ayan, or Armaan until you reach that level of success yourselves. Shut the fuck up and focus on your own lives. Okay. I tried everything to be good to MINA and be part of the family, but at some point they overstepped my line of disrespect. Okay, girl. Let us know how you really feel. I don't care how healed someone may be. Okay, so she's talking about MINA again. But a person with millions in their bank account not helping her own son while he's in medical danger and crisis tells me everything I need to know. As a woman, I am very disappointed that even during a miscarriage, there was no sign of empathy or womanhood. I just simply lost all my respect. Trust me, I wanted a mom-in-law, but she's not worth that title. As a woman myself, when I think about my daughter ever meeting her, I get a knot in my chest. That's when I knew that's not a woman ever worth meeting if she only helps herself. I will always support Armaan till I die. So I'm sorry, but no matter what you guys are going to answer, we just simply don't give a shit. This is just to shake the toxic energy of this family, of our own future. Okay, Armaan, well, you got yourself a ride or die. That part is undeniable. So yeah, but so that's the end of the whole OG post, joint post by Armaan and Paris, which congratulations, by the way, on your nuptials. Best wishes to you for a long and prosperous marriage. Okay, moving on to the replies though.
If this is true, Armaan should sue CPS and sue MINA IRFAN and her disgusting husband. They are criminals and deserve to be in jail. Someone else says, sue for what? He would likely lose, and it doesn't even make sense. His best bet is to go to therapy and develop into a good/kind person. Karma will take care of the rest. And Armaan says, I wish I could. Low-key, I don't even know how that works. Oh my god, more tea. You guys, it just never ends. Okay, can you like hold on a second? Let's take a little break. I need to check on Maxine. I found a little bit of water left. This is insane. But somehow I'm not surprised at all. No, she always had like really, really nasty energy simmering beneath her fake smiles. Like she even told us herself many times how she fakes it and how she like puts on a sickly sweet voice. You know, she has a whole course about like feminine voice training. It's almost like she's reptilian or something. That's what she reminds me of. Okay, so someone Round Gem says, there was a time at the old house where she posted a video of herself walking in various stilettos. It was unexpected and somewhat erotic, definitely out of sync with the rest of her videos. Next thing you know, the video is deleted and she suddenly is shutting down her whole channel and telling us she won't be filming videos anymore, only audio to protect the family from other people's bad thoughts and evil eye. It felt like something went down between her and Irfan, or she had some sort of breakdown. None of it made sense. Does Mina really believe that she channels your grandmother, Sheena? Did the Reddit stuff affect your parents' standing in the Pakistani community and in the wider community, or has there been minimal impact? She seems to swing between Islam and Christianity. Are either of these legit to her, or is it just a business tool? Could it be that she cheated on your bio dad with his friend that purportedly drugged her, and she's covering it up by accusing them of something they never did? For all we know, your bio dad may have left her because she had an affair, or maybe her erratic, abusive behavior was too much to handle. How can we believe anything she says about your bio dad? Is she still friends with her boyfriend, with her BF, Janan? I don't know who that is. So then Armaan replies, kind of irrelevant, but she's not Pakistani at all. She's fully Indian and Irani, like Iranian? I'm sorry. Irani, wait, it refers to Iranis, India, an ethno-religious Zoroastrian community in India. Okay, so she's like fully Indian. She's not even half Pakistani, as she always claimed. All right, interesting. I don't know who Sheena is, if that's the grandmother. Well, it isn't her name because I know her real name. If it's a nickname, then it was quite recent, definitely after COVID, because I never heard her mention that name in real life. I just been confused by it in some of her posts. Well, her mother even thought she was crazy, so I'm not sure what she's channeling. For the Pakistani community and impact, I don't think so. In fact, I would say most people probably don't know about it. Doesn't even matter because she's at home 95% of the time anyway, and guests never come over. Yeah, that's definitely what she's giving in all of her live streams. I hate guests coming over, so that was something my mom and I had in common. So it never impacted her in that way. Regarding the last question, it's too specific of a question to confirm that theory, but let me just say it's possible about the bio dad. So hold that thought. Oh, and you had one more question. Janan, I was talking about her on this post. That's the friend I disliked. I doubt they are friends now. So people are like doubting him and they're saying, Armaan, you don't know who Sheena is? Could it be that you didn't watch many or a lot of her videos? Because people here watched every single video or the majority. So it seems like she lived in a parallel imaginary world of trust funds, Sheena, and millions of other fantasies. All a lie with a little bit of truth sprinkled here and there. That's exactly what it was. Armaan says, I rarely ever watched her videos growing up. I never cared for them. I forget most times that my mom is a YouTuber. I never led with that in my life when I introduced my mom. Edit, I always supported her YouTube journey regardless, but I rarely watched her videos in its entirety or often. She also didn't like it if I played it too loud, out loud, or told anyone, so I rarely ever did. Why did her mother think she was crazy? She was definitely very self-centered growing up, so maybe that's why. I know there's so much more to it, but never got to ask her, of course. I was too young when she died. He's talking about his grandma. Hey, Armaan, are you still here? Can I please ask you why you got into human reading? Was it because of Mina? Yes, she taught me well when it comes to that. That was something separate from this where I genuinely liked doing it. Over time, though, I did have weird feelings about it, only because it reminds me of her. But I'm good at what I do when it comes to human design. Armaan, how did Irfan react to finding out about her first marriage? Was it arranged or did she just do it? How did Irfan react to this subreddit? So Armaan says, I found out about the first marriage 2 weeks ago through another source. So here's a couple of things about that. Number one, I don't know if Irfan, knew prior. Number two, I don't know if he knows now. I never told him since I just found out, and then I made this post soon after anyway. I don't really care about the first marriage. It's shocking, and it's the principle to more secrets yet to be uncovered, but it's just like, oh, this is typical of her. I think it was arranged. I never really saw his reaction to the Reddit. I only saw him once ever during the Reddit, which was hungry intensive, and that wasn't our main topic. He didn't seem freaked out about it though. Mina said she grew up very poor, no food in the fridge, mattresses on the floor, etc. Is this true? Because then they have spare room and food to have random strangers? years staying at their house. Is the rags to riches story just part of her sales pitch? And also her rheumatoid arthritis, was that real or just a topic to help build her channel? And then Armaan replies, think of it this way. What do you think is more inspiring on a mass scale? A rags to riches story or I came from everything? As much as I found both impressive because it still takes mindset to not destroy what you already had, she did use a rags to riches story to emphasize a story for sales and reputation. Of course. Is it true? Well, I was way too young to remember that. And remember that I met my stepdad at 3 years old. But I think based on pattern recognition, it wasn't as bad as she says. She did claim the bio dad stole $80K from her. She was a real estate agent making 6 figures, but claims she couldn't keep the money she had. Financial illiteracy. I think she was struggling, but not on the scale that she claims. I get what you're saying. She says whatever she needs to say to sell. Was the rheumatoid stuff true or made up? And then Armaan says, no, definitely real. Her lifestyle made me believe she definitely had arthritis. Our family genes are very sensitive to lifestyle and arthritis. You said she was sexually assaulted when she was younger. Is that story true or BS? I can't answer that. I wish I could, but I wasn't there for any of it to confirm. I was only a year old, apparently, since the last time it happened to her. She accuses my bio dad of orchestrating or hiring someone to drug and do it to her at the bar. I do believe it happened the multiple times she claimed. In fact, it became a heroic complex. He says, she really did enjoy the cycle of it. Her excuse was her biggest fear is that I would end up like her ex. I will say this in her defense, but I'm genuinely just curious. With the way she described what happened, most of the assault cases seemed when she was younger, where it wouldn't make sense to report since she didn't even know who to report in that manner. Regarding the bar drugging incident, yes, I agree. I mean, she even claimed that one time she went to the bathroom while I was playing with my dad and she came back and I was a bloody mess and crying because he did something to me. I'm confused about that story because I heard it once from her and never asked again, but there was a lot of things she mentioned that he did that was borderline WTF. So why didn't she do anything about it is my question. The cycle of abuse is usually done by the abuser to keep the victim from speaking out. If the victim is sorry for the abuser, they will more likely make excuses for the abuse and blame themselves for it. Telling you that you were like your father and telling you that your father was a bad person is a form of abuse. Verbal and emotional abuse are just as harmful as physical abuses, and for all we know, it may or may not be true. He may or may not have been abusive. If there's no police reports and no paper trail, there's no proof of the abuse. The assault cases that she said happened when she was younger could still be investigated, and the one thing that happened as an adult could have as well. They could have talked to family friends, and discovered who the family had contact with, and also issued a subpoena for doctor and school records. They've solved crimes before like this. So to me, it's highly suspicious that she never reported it. However, filing a false police report is a crime, so perhaps that explains it. Since she supposedly witnessed your birth father abusing you or the aftermath, it was her responsibility to notify the police. Not reporting suspected child abuse is a crime. Not reporting significant injuries would have also appeared in doctor and health records, but since these were subpoenaed during your CPS case, this is usually done during a CPS case. Any injuries that were in your records that even hinted at past abuse would have likely been cause for concern, and you likely would have been informed of it. In my opinion, it is highly likely that your mother is a pathological liar. Yes, I second this opinion. I think your wife seems to have suspected this early on. Smart of her. If I were you, I would disbelieve everything she says until or unless there is concrete proof. She always seems to have an abundance of rhetoric, stories, claims, and victimhood, but lacks proof for much of what she says. I'm happy for you that you're coming out of the other side of this cycle of abuse. I hope that you always remember that it was not your fault. You are the victim, not your mother. You were a child and you deserved more. So he says, you're very much right on that. She has a huge thing on projection, hence why she would always call me bipolar or special ed even. That was the biggest thing growing up. She would try to convince me that I was slow. I got A on a roll when I was 8. And she said, if I was your teacher, I would have made sure to fail you. A lot of this was projection because of the stories she told me growing up for her, whether they were true or not, but they were similar to what I just told you. So I think I was the perfect punching bag for that matter. Everything you said with I agree, by the way. My wife caught this early on, but she had to reveal it slowly to me because I think she saw I still had an ounce of defense for her at the time. My mom did say that storytelling is everything and tried to master it apparently, but that art of storytelling is also fabricating. So then finally we are at the end of this thread. I guess now she's gone to treat your younger sister and younger brother as the golden kids since you no longer F with her, which is a good thing because who would want her as a mom anyways? Very brave brave of you, Armaan. Yes, exactly. For some reason, it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I love my younger brother so much. I don't have any resentment to them. I want them to do better than me in life. But yeah, I just caught the bad end of that stick. Okay, guys, that was insane. She's even more deplorable of a human being than I thought. And yeah, I don't know what to say. Sound off in the comments if you want to. And let me know if Armaan has a YouTube channel. I would love to follow. But yeah, I need to go now. I have an early morning appointment with the American Embassy, bright and early at 8:30 a.m. And I need to pay for a notary. I think that's what it's called. So gotta go get ready for that. And I gotta go find a drink to soothe my throat. And thank you, Armaan, truly, for opening up so much on this Reddit and for validating everyone's claims in there about their experiences with MINA. Bye.